On today's menu, a recipe so flavor-packed you won't have much room for dessert. This is a beautiful mushroom rice. Lei hong ma, that's how's it going in Cantonese. Welcome to Young Man Cooking, I'm Will Yeung. I'm so excited to bring you this mushroom-packed recipe. I hope you'll love it. But before we get started, a big special thanks to our friends over at Shopify for sponsoring today's episode, which I'll mention more in a little bit. As always, let's get started with the recipe first. Preheat the oven to 400. Three pieces of garlic, finely chopped. This recipe is fantastic for about 3 to 4 portions, but of course it depends on how hungry you are. Finely chop 1 onion. You can also use a couple shallots or a red onion if that's what you have on hand. Chop down 2 sticks of green onions. This here is what I'm talking about. I have about 500 grams worth of mushrooms here, and this mushroom mix is really just chosen off of what I have access to, which luckily for me is quite a bit. Roughly chop down the king oyster mushrooms. In this episode, I'm using about 135 grams of king oyster mushrooms. In this episode, I'm using about 165 grams of oyster mushrooms. Simply tear them down. I'm using about 100 grams of fresh shiitake mushrooms. The fresh shiitake mushrooms have a pretty soft stalk, so there's no need to remove it. Simply slice them down. Remove the end bit of 110 grams of seafood mushrooms and chop in half. Place the mushrooms into a large mixing bowl. Drizzle over a couple tablespoons of avocado oil. Mix to coat. Spread the mushrooms onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper. These mushrooms will add incredible umami and a very unique texture. Add some fresh cracked pepper to taste, then bake in the oven for about 30 minutes. While we wait, we can make the rice so it finishes around the same time. Rinse and drain 2 cups of rice 2 to 3 times to get rid of the excess starch. Saute pan, medium-high heat, 1 tablespoon avocado oil, onions and garlic. Saute for a few minutes. This umami seasoning is something I made in the previous episode. Super easy to make, and I'll definitely leave a link in the description box below for you to check that out. Make it really easily at home. 2 teaspoons previously made umami powder. Give the pan a good stir. Carefully add in the rice. 2 cups of water. Give the pan a stir and turn the heat on high. When the water begins to bubble, turn the heat to medium-low. Give the pan a stir to prevent the rice from sticking to the bottom. Cover and cook for 15 minutes. Then turn off the heat and let it steam further for another 10 minutes. When the mushrooms are done, take them out of the oven and try not to snack on it too much. Last year, we launched these official Young Man Cooking ceramic bowls over on the web shop, which is why it's so awesome that Shopify is today's episode sponsor. Our Young Man Cooking web shop has been powered by Shopify's all-in-one commerce platform for many years now. I have a photography background, so I take all of the imagery over on the web shop, but not everyone has a photography background, so Shopify always adds new and innovative tools for entrepreneurs at every stage of their journey. Shopify recently launched Shopify Magic, which is a tool that gives you the ability to do really cool stuff like generate item descriptions and transform product image backgrounds. Take our ceramic ramen bowls for instance. The original image has a moody and dramatic style, but using the Shopify Magic Media Editor, it can transform images with a new aesthetic like enjoying those ramen noodles inside a cozy noodle shop in Japan. Or I can use the Media Editor to show what the ceramic bowls may look like at home, nestled on the kitchen counter in a warm, late afternoon. Shopify has always been very entrepreneur focused and they have a ton of amazing free resources. If you're thinking about testing the water waters with Shopify, you can check out their free trial in the link in the description box below, or you can visit shopify.com/youngmancooking. Make the sauce by combining 2 tablespoons soy sauce, 1 teaspoon dark soy sauce, 1 teaspoon yuzu or lemon juice, 1 teaspoon toasted sesame oil, and about 2 teaspoons of chili oil. This is a delicious aromatic chili oil made in the previous episode, and of course I'll leave a link in the description box below for you to check this out. Make it really easily at home as well. Add the green onions to the cooked rice. Add the mushrooms to the rice. Add in half the sauce first. Remember, you can always add more, or you can't take away. The mushrooms shrink so much. Do you ever go to a restaurant and you order that mushroom risotto and it comes out and there's hardly looks like there's any mushrooms in it? That's why I always try to almost overkill on the mushrooms, because they're so delicious and visually stunning. Give the rice a good mix. The heat from the rice will wilt down the green onions, keeping its nice, crisp freshness. Plate the rice generously. You can now dig into this earthy mushroom rice with absolute confidence. The looks and smells so good. That is one tasty mushroom rice. This dish is visually stunning. I think one of the things I love most about this dish is the voluminous abundance of those extraordinary mushrooms. In combination with the soy sauce, the flavored oils, and that extraordinary umami seasoning, there's just an explosion of flavor in every bite, because the mushrooms are still really juicy and yet have a little bit of a crust, and a lot of that moisture has been taken away, so it's really concentrated in that umami goodness. There's a little bit of that heat and that spicy kick from the chili oil, and in contrast there's that brightness and that little bit of freshness from the yuzu. I also love the marbling of the rice when pouring that sauce afterwards instead of initially cooking the rice with the sauce. Such a simple recipe to put together and packed with delightful earthy flavors. This is definitely my idea of an amazing comfort dish. It's definitely recipes like this that makes it so exciting to cook at home. If you love easy, delicious recipes like me, definitely check out or pick up your copy of one of the 4 Young Man Cooking cookbooks. There's a print or digital version of these books. You can also check out the Young Man Cooking merch, like the ceramic ramen bowl or that plant-based sushi masterclass, all in the link in the description box below, or you can visit youngmancooking.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, definitely give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. If you're not already subscribed with that notification bell clicked, remember to do so that we can cook together again in the next episode.